And now let me introduce you to our guest. Chaksu Roy is from PRS Legislative, and he is joining us from New Delhi. He's an expert on politics and legislatures. Well, Mr. Roy, thanks for being with us. Now, what would you attribute the main reasons for the BJP retaining power in Haryana and defying all the odds and all those exit polls?
Mark, I think it's hard to read as to, or let me put it this way. Hindsight is always 20/20. I think after an election result has come out, it is easy to give explanations as to why the result came out that way. But in the last few elections, we have seen that the predictions by experts have not come out entirely true on a couple of different occasions. But I think we should also put some credit to the astuteness of the Indian voter. In Haryana, for example, in the recently concluded general elections, the mandate was split between the Congress and the BJP. But if you look at the election results that came out today, there was a decisive mandate for the incumbent political party. Two or three things that I thought were interesting to watch out here. One was in Haryana, there were a number of political parties that changed number of their sitting MLAs. And so there were individuals who fought as an independent, defying the party whip, and at times at loggerheads with the parties, but that did not have that much of an impact on the electoral outcomes. There was a clear-cut majority that a political party was able to get on their own. And I think that then allows for 5 years of governance and focus on governance with the ideology, with the promises that that political party had made. So that's interesting.
That's quite fascinating what you're saying. But India is a multi-party system. And if you look at the Haryana contest, it seems to have been bipolar to a large extent. Is this trend likely to extend to other states as well?
I'm not sure, because of the two results that have come out today. There is one result that focuses on the fact as to the strength of two national political parties. But in the result in Jammu and Kashmir, there is some semblance of the fact that power might also have to be shared with regional players. And also, let's not forget that throughout the countries, as you rightly pointed out, Mark, that we are a multi-party democracy. There are certain states which are dominated by regional parties, and there are certain states where it is a two-party contest. So, for example, in the neighboring state of Himachal Pradesh next to Jammu and Kashmir, it has been a two-party contest for the longest time. In Haryana, it's been a two-party contest for the longest time. In Punjab, we have seen regional parties come and go, and we've seen coalitions come. So I think it's going to be interesting as to how this will play out. But I think what today shows is that there is no one formula for the country. In some cases, voters will prefer national parties, and in some cases, they prefer regional parties. But what the voter has been able to do is that they've been able to say that they'll be able to distinguish between what their regional concerns are, what their state concerns are, versus what their national issues are, as to how they vote differently in a general election versus a state election.
Mr. Roy, also in Jammu and Kashmir, Omar Abdullah has won 2 seats, and he's also the front runner for the Chief Minister's post. But just a few months ago, he had lost the Lok Sabha elections. So, what are the reasons for this sudden, quick turnaround of his fortunes?
I think, so two interesting aspects. One is, till about the middle of 1990s, members could contest elections from as many seats as possible. And then the law, the People's Representation Act was changed and said that, oh, you know what, we can't have members contesting for so many different seats, so let's limit it to 2 seats. Now, how have voters shifted or decided that as to how will they vote in a national election and general election is something that we've already talked about. But could it also be the fact that the campaign for a national election was more broad-based and for a state election was very pointed and focused on issues that, for example, in Jammu and Kashmir, the legislature that will now be formed after the application of Article 370 in 2019, the will have to have a focus on governance issues like health, education, issues like law and order will be out of its view. But important things, water, employment, some of those things, the state legislature will have to focus on for the next 5 years. And has it been the case that the voter has said, oh, you know what, these are issues that I really resonate with, and I would want to see a political party or a coalition which will focus on some of these issues?
Mr. Roy, the BJP has 129 seats in Jammu and Kashmir. Do you see it making, serious inroads into the entire state? I mean, not just the Jammu region. I mean, the entire union territory over a period of time.
Mark, I think somebody a long time ago said that there's nothing straight in Jammu and Kashmir other than the poplar trees. So politics is the art of the possible. We've seen political parties make inroads where political pundits said that they will receive no traction. And we've also seen political parties that have a lot of traction in the state and have been in the state for the longest time possible, come short at the ballot box. So I think it'll time tell. But for me, the key takeaway from the two elections today is that elections are vibrant. People still have faith in the electoral process. Unlike many other mature democracies where people question the outcome of an electoral contest, that doesn't seem to be the case in India. And especially for Jammu and Kashmir, where elections are happening after a very long time, the significance will not only be for the state, for the formation of the state legislature there, but also for the fact that Jammu and Kashmir since 2019 hasn't had a representation in Rajya Sabha. So with the new legislature coming in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the newly elected MLAs will now be able to send 4 Rajya Sabha MPs to represent their Union Territory at the national level and have their voices raised in Delhi. So I think that's another interesting development and something that I think all of us as a country have been looking forward to.
We leave it there. Thank you very much, Mr. Chakshu Roy, for throwing light on these two elections and how they impact India as a whole. Thanks for being with us.